Hello everyone and welcome to today's Home Designer Bathroom webinar. My name is Bailey and I'll be presenting for you today. We have 3 products in our Home Designer software line. I will be using Home Designer Professional for today's design. Most of what I'll be designing, it can be done in Home Designer Suite and Architectural, but I'll definitely try to point out the features that are specific to Home Designer Pro. In this demonstration, we're going to do walls and dimensions, doors and windows, custom cabinets, a custom backsplash, going through how to apply your materials, putting together your electrical plans, and then putting together your construction documents with the layout pages. Let's get started by opening up the Home Designer Professional software. As a quick review, you can see our top menu bar and then also our toolbar icons up at the top here. There are different tools for the walls, the doors, the windows, and so on. But you can also access all of these tools from the drop-down menu options. When you click on a tool, like the exterior wall tool, first off, you'll see that there's a little check mark that's gonna just let you know that that tool is currently active for your cursor. And then you'll also see this tool palette. It's going to be on the left-hand side. That'll pop up for you. And the tool palette just has similar tools that are related to the one that you just clicked on. You can also access all of these tools through the drop-down menu if you click on the arrow next to it. Say if I choose the straight interior wall tool, you'll notice that the check mark is next to that tool, and then also my icon is changed up at the top here. And the library browser, that's off to the right here. And this is where you can browse through different items and materials to customize your design. If you don't see the library browser, you can just click on this little icon that looks like 3 books in the top toolbar, or you can go to View Library Browser. And if you don't see any of these folders underneath your Home Designer core catalog, then you might just need to go up to the library menu and then click on Install Core Content. That will just start the install for all of the included catalog items for your software program. I will exit out of the library browser just for now to give us a little bit more drawing room. And if you prefer, we can also turn off the grid in the drawing area. And we can do that just by clicking on this little icon off to the side. Let's start by drawing our floor plan. I'm just going to use the straight interior wall tool for this, and then what we do is just click and drag in the drawing area on our screen, and I'm just going to place these walls roughly where I want them to be. As you can see, as I'm drawing out these walls, there's a temporary dimension that's displaying. Don't worry about getting these correct, just get like maybe a rough estimate of where you want them to be, because we can always change the dimensions later. After the walls connect to create an enclosed space, the software will just automatically place the exterior wall dimensions, as well as these green dashed lines to indicate our roof line. Before we go any further, let's save our project. It's best practice to just routinely save as you go so that you don't lose as much work in the event of maybe like a power outage or anything like that. So let's just go up to File, Save As. Let's give our plan a name. And then we can also save it on a location on our computer that we will remember. So let's take a 3D camera view so we can see what we've created so far. Let's go up to the little icon that looks like a camera, and we're going to choose the dollhouse view. You can see that we have, of course, our walls that we just drew, but also my cursor has changed. The software by default, it will jump to the mouse orbit camera tool when you go into a 3D camera view. And this one allows you just to kind of rotate your view. But as we're designing and we're choosing different tools and kind of moving away from the 3D navigation tools, it's nice to be able to navigate in 3D using the shortcuts. And I'll explain those real quick here. Whatever tool that you have active at the moment, you can, on your keyboard, press the space bar, and that will release whatever tool that you already have, and it'll go back to the Select Objects tool instead. And to zoom in and out, we're going to be using your mouse zoom wheel, and you can just zoom in and out that way by scrolling your mouse wheel. And then to pan your view, we're actually going to be clicking, holding, and dragging the mouse scroll wheel, and that pans our view. And to do that rotation move, similar to the mouse orbit camera tool, how to do that is we are actually going to be pressing on our keyboard Alt, and then we're going to do the same thing as the pan. We're going to click, hold, and drag the middle mouse scroll wheel, and that rotates our view for us. I'll be using those navigation tools pretty frequently throughout the demonstration. Let's tile our window views just so that we can design in both 2D and 3D. So what I'm going to do is just drag my dollhouse view tab at the top. I'm going to drag it over to the left hand side here. Now I'm going to just zoom in a little bit in the plan view so that it'll be a little bit easier to dimension our walls. Now if I want to change this far wall and I want to make it shorter, then either the left wall or the right wall will need to move its position. I want this far wall to be 26 feet 5 inches, so I'm going to choose the wall that I want to move. Then I'm going to select the corresponding dimension for the far wall, and then I'm going to type in the appropriate measurement. And then click Enter. So that pulled in that wall on the right hand side, and it made the top wall the correct measurement that I wanted. Same thing for the wall on the right. If I want this to be 28 feet and 4 inches, I'm going to need to push or pull either the top or the bottom wall. So again, I'm going to select the wall that I want to move, click on the corresponding dimension for the wall I want to change. I'm going to type in the measurement I want and hit Enter. Perfect. So that is the correct measurements that I wanted for my wall now. For this design, the top area here is going to be the master bedroom, and then the bottom areas are going to be the bathroom and closet. So I'm going to need to draw some more interior walls to define the space a bit better. So let's go up and grab that interior straight wall again. And then I'm just going to roughly draw where I want the space to look like. This is going to be a little toilet area. Over here is going to be a closet. I also want to create a shower, a custom shower in the corner here. And I want that shower to have walls with half tile and half glass at the top. So I'm going to, from our tool palette, I'm going to choose the straight glass pony wall. This is a new tool that's been introduced, and it's only in Home Designer Architectural and Home Designer Pro 2020 versions. So if we click on that tool, we can just click and drag where we want that to be in our plan. You can kind of see off to the right here how that's definitely a different type of wall than the other ones. But if you're working with like Home Designer Suite, you could use a solid glass wall for this custom shower. That's a new Home Designer Suite 2020 feature as well. And if you select a wall and click on this Open Object button in the bottom toolbar, that will bring up the wall specification dialog. And there are a bunch of different panels on the left hand side for the different elements that we can change about this wall. And the general area is where we can change things like the wall thickness or the wall length. And you can change other things about it like the structure, wall types, coverings, materials. In this dialog box, it will look different depending on which software product you have. For example, in Home Designer Architectural and in Pro, you will gain this Wall Types panel where you can create a pony wall. That's why this particular half glass, half tile wall tool is only in the Architectural and the Pro versions. Now we'll add some interior dimensions, and we can do that by selecting the interior of a room and then going down to the bottom toolbar, and then we're going to click on this Auto Interior Dimension tool. That will just automatically place our interior dimensions for us, and then we can zoom in and dimension this a bit better. First off, I want this wall to be 76 inches, so we're going to need to push this wall up. So I'm going to select the wall I want to move, click on the corresponding dimension that I want to change, and then I'm just going to type in the correct number and press enter. And I want this wall to be 72 inches, so I'm going to need to push this wall out 72 inches and press enter. I want the space in between the shower wall and this interior wall to be 98.5 inches. So I'm going to select this wall that I'm going to push out, type in the correct number and press enter. I want the space between this wall and this wall to be 181 inches in length. So I'm going to choose this wall that I want to push over and press enter. I want the space between the custom shower and this wall over here to be 163.5 inches. So I'm going to select the wall I want to push over, 163.5, and press enter. And finally, I want the area between this wall and this wall to be 104 inches. So I'm going to push this one over 104 inches. And there we go. Before we go on any further, let's clean up our display a little bit because there's a lot of dimensions and roof lines going on, and just for our interior bathroom design, we don't need to see them. So let's go up to Tools and then Display Options. This is a list of all of our layers. And this dialog box, it will look different depending on which version you have. Home Designer Pro, it is going to have more advanced options here. But the blue check mark between all of them signifies if a layer is being displayed in our current view or not. And we can scroll through this list to toggle on or off the display of certain layers. You can also start typing the name of a category, like roof, and then we will jump to that category. Let's uncheck the display for our roof planes. Let's also go to Dimensions. And we can turn off the display for the automatic and the manual dimensions here. And then click OK. As you can see, that really cleaned up our view, and now we can move forward. This top room, this is going to be the master bedroom, and this is going to be the master bathroom, and then we also have the closet off to the side. And we can open up the specification dialog also by double clicking on something, like the bathroom. Double click on that room, and then the room specification dialog will pop up for us. This dialog box will look differently based on which product you have. Like in Home Designer Architectural and in Pro, you will be gaining these the wall covering and the deck panels. And in the general area, we can specify that this is going to be our master bathroom. By doing this, we're having the software program pull different attributes from the default settings in order to apply to this particular room, which is the master bathroom. And those are going to be things like materials, but no worries, whatever default settings have the materials be, you can always change the materials later on. In Home Designer 2020, this specification dialog has been redone to be more interactive. For example, if we go over to the structure panel and we can hover over these different measurements, you can see how the corresponding measurement is being highlighted in red off to the right hand side. And this just better helps us know which measurement is being displayed where. For example, the finished ceiling, which comes in handy when you're doing like a remodeling project or an interior bathroom design, it'll show you off to the right where that measurement is. And the structure panel is also where you can vault a ceiling if you'd like. Then we can click OK. As you can see, in the 3D view, we have an updated floor material, and then also we've added this master bathroom label in the plan view as well. Let's open up the shower room too. And we can change the room type also to be the master bath, but we can change what that room name is going to display in our plan view. Let's just have it say shower and then OK. You'll see that the 3D view, our 3D model, has been updated, and then we have a shower room label too. Now let's add some doors. And if you look underneath the door options, you'll see that we can choose from like a hinge door, a doorway, sliding door, and so on. You'll also notice that in the new 2020 version of the software program, you'll see a new fixed door, a new sliding barn door, and a new shower door tool in the tool palette. I'll just be using the hinge door for now. And as I bring my mouse cursor into my drawing view, there's going to be a ghost outline of where that door is going to be placed in my plan before I even click. And then you can just click to place. Another thing you can do in order to control the swing side of the door a little bit more is as you're clicking, you're going to hold, and then as you hold your mouse, you can kind of change that swing side of the door just by moving your mouse cursor a little bit, and then when you have the right position, release. And I want to go back and change the swing side of this door again, so I'm going to select it. And if you see in the bottom toolbar, we're going to have a couple of options to work with. One of them is going to be the change opening / hinge side tool. Another one's going to be the changing the swing side, which might be helpful. And then you can also show the door open in the 3D view. So keep your eye on that door for the 3D model, and I'm going to click that tool. So you can show your doors being open in 3D if you'd like. And you can also control what angle you want the door to be open as well. Now let's grab a shower door from the tool palette options, and I'm just going to click to place that in our plan. Let's open up this door real quick so we can see the different options that we have for customization. This will bring up the door specification dialog. This dialog for Home Designer Pro is going to be gaining, more panels. For example, the lintel, shutters, and the framing. This is also where you can control the sizing or the casing of your door too. I want to go to the options panel real quick just because I want this door to swing in both directions. Now let's go to the hardware panel because I want to add, zoom in a little bit in this view, I want to add some handles. So for the interior handle, I'm going to click on Library, and this is going to open up the Select Library Object dialog box, and this is just a context-sensitive view of the library browser. And we can just browse through these different folders and look at the different options that are available. You can choose any one that you want. I'm actually going to go down to this, the bonus catalogs area. I'm going to go to the door hardware number 2. I'm going to go under the pulls. And as you can see, there's a bunch of options here. The one I want is the smoothed curve pull handle, and I'm going to click OK. And if you rotate this around, you can see that handle has been added to the interior. So we're going to do the same thing to the exterior one. Just browse to the same location and click OK. That looks good to me, so I will click OK. And you can see in our 3D view that our doors have been updated. You can see the handle and the glass door. This door's open. Let's add one last door right here. I want to put a sliding barn door for the closet. Let's show both the sliding barn door and the hinge door being open. And we can multi-select both of these objects by holding Shift on our keyboard while we click the other object. So now both of them are selected, and we can go down to the bottom toolbar and click on the Show Open in 3D tool. We can even make changes to multiple objects at the same time by multi-selecting them and opening up that specification dialog again. Let's do that for these doors. So click on one door, Shift, and click the other one, and then we can go down to the bottom toolbar and open them up. And the last change I'm going to make for these doors is I'm going to go over to the hardware panel, and I want both of the handles to be levers instead of those knobs. And then we're going to click OK. Now let's add some windows. So I'm going to just zoom out a little bit and reposition real quick. So we're going to want a window up top higher here, and then we're also going to want a larger window in this area. Let's take a quick look at our window tools. So you'll be able to see that there's a variety to choose from: a window, a bay window, box window, and so on. I'm just going to use the regular window tool for now, and just like the door, you'll see a ghost outline of where my window is going to be before I click. And then we can click to place that one, and then we also want the other one to be on this wall. Now I'm going to multi-select these again by pressing Shift on my keyboard while I click on the other object, and I'm going to open the specification dialog for both of these windows. And again, this is the area where we can customize the design of our window, like changing the height and the width, also doing things like changing whatever the casing or frame or lights may be. You'll notice that many of these same panel options for the doors, those are going to be the same for the windows too. And I want both of these windows to be a fixed glass type of window. So I'm just going to click on the drop down options for window type and choose a fixed glass. I also want to go over to the casing because I want to remove the interior and the exterior casing for these windows, as well as the sill. I'm going to remove the interior and exterior sill for these windows. One thing to note is that this remove sill option is actually going to be under the casing panel if you're using Home Designer Suite or Architectural. And then also this has frame checkbox. That one is a new 2020 feature that's been added. Now let's go under materials. You can see all the different components of my window here and their corresponding material. I want to change the material of the glass, so I'm going to select that component, and then I'm going to come over here to select material. This will bring up the select material dialog box. Again, it's a context sensitive view of our library browser, and you can just peruse through the different options that we have available, or you can also type in the name of a material if you know what you're looking for. I want to look for a material that starts with the word rain, and then I can select it from the options that pop up and then click OK. And then let's click OK, and we can see how they update it in our 3D view. Now I want to change the size of each window individually, so I'm going to go over to this window and double click on it. In the specification dialog, I'm going to change the width of this window to be 60 inches. The height is going to be 32. And then from floor to bottom, I want it to be 60 inches. And then I'll click OK. And double clicking on this window to open the specification dialog, I want to change the width to be 64 inches wide, 20 inches high, and then it's going to be 84 inches from the floor to the bottom, and click OK. And you can see that these windows are sort of askew. They're not exactly in the center of their rooms that they're in. And we have a tool that can center these for you. So make sure that you have the object selected first off, and then going down to the lower toolbar, there's a center object tool. If you click that, nothing will happen initially because you need to tell the software program where you want that to be centered on. In this case, I want it to be centered on that shower room. Let's do the same thing for this window over here. Select it, go to Center Object, and then we're just going to hover our mouse cursor until it's going to locate to the correct place where you want it centered on, and then you click. There. Let's take another look at our finished design, and you can see that we have custom cabinets here. So let's add these into our design, and we can adjust how they look so that they match the photo. So I'm just going to rotate my view around a little bit so that we can get into the right area. And then I'm going to grab one of the base cabinet tools. And we can see the different options that we have available: a base cabinet, wall cabinet, a full height cabinet. For now, we just want to use this base cabinet tool. And then as we bring that into our view, you're going to see that ghost outline again, and then you can just click to place. We can also place cabinets in the 3D view, again just by bringing our mouse cursor over the view. You see that ghost outline, and then click to place. So now let's open up this cabinet by double clicking on it. This will bring up the base cabinet specification dialog, and this is where you can change the style of the cabinet. You can change the size, position, change the countertop thickness, overhang, your backsplash, and in Home Designer Pro you can also modify the toe kick as well. And these panels on the left, they are going to be pretty similar throughout the different software versions, but in Home Designer Pro you gain this box construction panel so that you can do a framed or a frameless cabinet if you'd like. Let's go back to the general panel because I want to change the width of this cabinet to be 33 inches. The height is going to be 30 inches, and we're wanting these cabinets to be floating or appear to be floating, so I'm going to make from the floor to bottom 6 inches. And then I'm going to remove the toe kick area, so I'm just going to go down to toe kick, type in 0, and we can see how that updates in our view for us. And this view is also helpful because we can actually select the face items. So if I click on the front drawer, it's going to jump to the front panel on the left. And this panel is going to look different depending on which software program you have. In Home Designer Pro, you're going to get a lot more advanced cabinet tools so that you can just have a more customized look. And I actually want to delete this drawer, and it's already selected for me, so I'm just going to click delete. Now I'm going to go over to the materials panel. Again, we can see all the different components of our cabinet, and I'm just going to multi-select these, and you can do that by holding Control on your keyboard. So I want to grab the cabinet box, the drawers, the shelves, the frame, and the panel. And I'm going to change the material for all of these components by selecting material. I know that I want these to have a red oak material, so I'm just going to search for that. And the one is a little bit darker. Here it is. Red oak dark, and then click OK. You'll see that that updates in our preview. And for the countertop, I'm going to change this to a lighter material. It's called Tundra. Here it is, and then click OK. And then for our hardware, I'm just going to change this to a chrome material. And there we go. Let's click OK to see our changes. So that changed for us in our 3D view. You can now see that this cabinet, it's floating. It's a different size and design than just the default cabinet that comes with the software program loaded in. And if I want to apply the changes that I just made to this cabinet over to the other one, there's a quick way to do that here. There, up in the top menu bar, we have an object eyedropper tool, and this will grab all of the attributes from whatever object you select. So I'm going to select this cabinet that we just updated, and you're going to see that my cursor has changed to a spray can, letting us know that we can now apply those changes to another object. And I'm just going to click on the other cabinet. And there you go. You can see that it's now the exact same type of cabinet. And now let's open up the specification dialog for this cabinet so we can make a couple more changes. This is going to be the the middle cabinets, and they're just a bit skinnier. So I'm going to change the width of this cabinet to be 15 inches. And you can see how the double doors has now changed to just a single door. So the software program, it'll know that for a smaller cabinet size, it'll just remove that extra door so that you have one again. Now I'm going to click the front of this door because I want to change it to a drawer instead. And I want to change the type of drawer that we have here. So I'm just going to go to the door/drawer panel, and underneath the drawer style, I'm going to click on library. We're going to be looking for a cubby drawer. Click the one we want and then click OK. You'll see that that's updated for us. It's not the right material, but that's the right style. And then for the drawer handle, we have this little cubby hole, so I'm just going to change this to none. And then we're going to go back to the front panel with the front drawer selected, and this is a Home Designer Pro only feature. I'm just going to split it horizontally twice, just so that we have that bank of drawers for the front. And then I'm going to click OK. And as you can see, the style of the drawer is correct, but the material is off. So if I want to apply the same material from this cabinet over to this one, we have a similar tool. So let's go up to the menu bar or the toolbar again, and we're going to choose, instead of the object eyedropper, I'm going to choose the material eyedropper. And with this, we can grab whatever material we want, and then it's going to switch over to that spray can again, letting us know that we can apply it to another surface. Before I paint anything real quick, in the bottom left hand corner, you're going to notice that there's some different scoping tools. We'll go over these a bit later, but just something to be aware of when you are painting. And you can just click to apply the material to another surface. Now I'm going to adjust the position of these cabinets a little bit. You'll find that with our cabinet tools, there's bumping and merging that happens. So when you select a cabinet, you're going to see that there's edit handles. You can change the size of this cabinet by using the edit tools. We've already done so by using the specification dialog, but that is available. And then the middle square, that's the middle edit handle, and you'll see that my cursor has changed to a 4 arrows, and you can click and drag where you want that object to go, and this cabinet will bump up against our original one, and then you'll see that they have formed one countertop here. And now I want to add a sink into this base cabinet. So let's open up the library browser. We're just going to look for a sink. The particular sink that I'm going to be looking for is from one of our Kohler catalogs. It's called a Catherine undermount bathroom sink. And then we can select it, and then we can bring it over into the floor plan view so that we can click to place. You can see that the software just automatically made that hole in the countertop for us. And now we can grab a faucet. The faucet that I'm looking for is called a Roman tub. Choose that from the results. You can take a better look at it in the 3D view below if you want to. And then after you have the one that you want, you can click to place. And then once you've placed it, we can more precisely position this by using the edit handles. And if you press Control on your keyboard, that will temporarily disable that snapping behavior, just so you can be a little more precise. Now, like the finished photo, these cabinets were reflected on the other side, so that there's actually 4 cabinets in total. So what I want to do is I'm just going to copy these cabinets and then reflect them symmetrically on this side. So we do that by selecting all of these elements, you can click and drag a big marquee around the objects that you want to select. And then we're going to go down to copy, paste in place. When I click it, you're not going to initially see any changes, but that's just going to create a copy of all of those items in the same exact position. So now that those are created, now we can reflect them about to the other side, and we can do that using the Reflect About Object tool. And this is a Home Designer Pro only feature. You can just place them manually in the other software programs, but this is a nice and easy, quick way to do it. So let's select this tool, and then we're going to bring our mouse cursor to the center of where we want our objects to be reflected. So I'm going to click in this area, and then you'll see that the copy that we just made, it's going to have a mirrored effect to the other side. Now let's make the full height cabinet like we had in our original image. So let's go up to those cabinet tools again. I'm going to choose the full height cabinet. I'm going to zoom out so we can have us look a little bit better over here. And then I'm just going to click to place in our space. And let's open up this cabinet so we can see its specification dialog. We're going to make the width of this cabinet to be 48 inches. The height is going to be 105 inches. And I'm going to click on the top half of these cabinet faces so that it jumps to the front panel. And we're going to change these cabinets to an opening. And I want this opening to be 66 inches. And now for these shelves, I'm going to change them a little bit. And this is a Home Designer Pro only feature again. We're going to change the shelf management to be manual. And then I only want 4 shelves to be in this cabinet. And then click OK. And now you can see that we have all of our cabinets. They've been created. We have custom cabinets now. And I'm just going to move this one over a little bit. You can also use the arrows on your keyboard to shift over items just by tiny increments if you wanted to. And now, like the finished image, let's create this custom backsplash. To create this custom backsplash, there's a custom backsplash tool that's only available in Home Designer Architectural and Pro. I find it easiest to create a custom backsplash in a wall elevation view, so I'm just going to get rid of the tiled view and the library browser for now. And then we're going to go up to the camera tools and choose the wall elevation. You're going to see that my cursor has changed to the picture of a little wall, and then we're just going to click and drag towards the wall we want to face. Now let's go back up to those cabinet tools again. I'm going to choose the custom backsplash tool. Again, this is only Architectural and Pro that has this particular tool. And then I'm just going to click inside of this area. And that got us pretty close. But with the custom backsplash, it's actually a polyline, and it has these edit handles that we can use to further edit the shape to however we'd like it to be. I'm going to make this go all the way to the top of the ceiling, and it's going to reach the edges of our countertop as well. Now we're going to change the material of the tile for our backsplash. So what I'm going to do is go up to the Material Painter tool, and this will just bring up, again, it's just a context sensitive view of our library browser, and it's going to show us all the materials that we have available to us. And for tile, I'm going to be looking for a light blue subway tile, and let's apply that. You'll see that my cursor has changed to the spray can again, so I'm just going to click to apply, and I want to adjust the color for this backsplash just a little bit more. I want it to be a little bit lighter. So what I can do is come up to the Adjust Material Definition tool. You'll see that my cursor has changed, letting me know that that tool is active. I'm going to select this material. And this is the Define Material dialog. This is where you can change the colors of your materials, the line colors, the pattern type, the scale. There's going to be several other things that you can adjust as well. But for now, all I want to do is adjust the color a little bit. So I'm just going to bring this up a little bit more so it's a brighter color. This looks good, so I'm going to click OK. And that you'll see that our view is updated with that new color we changed. Now let's add the mirrors and the wall sconces. I'm going to pull up my library browser, and you can just peruse through all of the different folders and items that we have available. There's thousands and thousands to choose from, even more on our website. But for easy access, I've just saved these items in my user catalog. So I'm going to grab that rectangular mirror. I'm going to click to place it in my plan, and then also grab the wall sconce, click to place. And these items are not centered. They're pretty askew right now. So like we did before with the windows, I'm going to use this Center Objects tool for our mirror. And I'm going to center it on the wall sconce. So now these are aligned together, and I want to keep them aligned with each other. So what I'm going to do is select both items. Again, you can just press Shift on your keyboard to multi-select items, and I'm going to go down to the lower edit menu. There's a tool that's called Make Architectural Block. And I'll want to note that this architectural block tool, it's only available in Home Designer Architectural and Pro. If you click that, then that makes whatever selected items that you had, they're going to move as one unit now. And this is really helpful for keeping grouped items together that you might use over and over again. And then now, since these are one unit, I can come down and grab that Center Object tool again and make these centered over our cabinet. Now if we want to flip these items and mirror them over to this side, we can use the same process that we did before by coming down to the lower edit menu, choosing the Copy and Paste and Place tool. I've just made a copy of these, and now I'm going to choose the Reflect About tool, which is only in Home Designer Pro, and then I'm going to move my mouse cursor to the middle of all of the cabinets and then click to place. Let's take another look at our finished design, and you're going to see that there's a lot of materials that we're going to need to adjust in our plan. So we have a very light gray paint color on our walls. There's a tile material on the floor. There's a river rock on the shower floor, and then we also have a herringbone material for the shower room and the very back wall. Let's go back to our 3D view, and we can see what our plan looks like so far. We can see our custom backsplash and our cabinetry, but we're definitely going to need to change some materials in the other areas of our plan. And it's going to be similar as to when we chose the tile texture for our backsplash, where we would just go up to the Material Painter tool and then search for the appropriate materials that we want to apply. Instead, for quick access, I've also added my materials to my user catalog. So for my walls, I'm going to grab this Barely There paint color. I believe it's from one of our Benjamin Moore catalogs. And after I select it, you're going to see that my cursor has changed to that spray can again. But before I paint anything, let's take a look at those scoping options down in the bottom toolbar. So we have Component Mode, which will replace the material on a single component of an object. We have Object Mode, which will replace the identical colors for an entire object. We have room mode, which will replace identical materials for the entire room. Floor mode, which will replace identical materials for the entire floor. And then we have plan mode, which will replace the identical materials for our entire plan. And then there's also this blend and replace tool, and that allows us to either blend the color and the texture together or to replace the entire material completely. And since I want to completely replace the wall color, I'm going to make sure that that's not checked. And I want to change the wall color for the entire plan. So I'm going to choose the plan mode. And then you can just bring that spray can to the wall and click. Now let's grab this herringbone material, and this is going to be applied to the entire back wall, but also the shower as well. So for this back wall, I'm going to choose the object mode and then click to apply. Then I want to change it to room mode for the shower and then click inside the shower. You can see how that's applied to the entire shower room now. Next, I'm going to grab this 4-square tile material, and I'm going to apply that to the bathroom floor as well as the toilet room floor and the closet room too. Then I'm going to grab this Shady Oak River rock. This is going to be applied to the bottom of our shower, so I will rotate just so I can make sure I'm grabbing the floor, and then click to apply. And let's add a few more elements to our shower, like, a shower head, handrails, and drains. So I'll tile my views real quick here just by clicking and dragging my plan view into my screen. So if we go back to the library browser, underneath my user catalog, I've actually saved the shower items as an architectural block. Just like how we made an architectural block before with the mirror and the wall sconces, I've made an architectural block of all of my shower items, and I saved them to my user catalog. And what we can do is bring this over to the plan view, and I'm just going to click to place. And it may not come in the right direction, so I'm going to just rotate that block around, and then I'm going to shift it into the right position. Also, you can unblock architectural blocks if you wanted to, adjust your items individually again. So let's click on that architectural block for the shower and come back down to the Explode Architectural Block tool. After you click it, all of those items are going to be able to be moved individually again. This architectural blocking ability is first gained in Home Designer Architectural and Home Designer Pro. I've also made architectural blocks for my other items as well. So I'm just going to drop those in here. You can see that this is for the flowers on the countertop as well as the rug on the floor. So I'll just click to place. And I'll scoot it into the right position. And then let's take a look in the 3D view as well. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to drop in all of the items for our full cabinet. So I'll just drop those in here. And I'll just rotate around here so that I can put in some more items like the bathtub and then the toilet in these areas. So I'll just click on the one that I want from my user catalog and click to place. And then I'll also grab the closet items and click those in here too. Alright, and that's about it for the items and the materials. So now that all of our furniture, fixtures are in place, let's do our electrical plan now. So I'm going to work just solely in the plan view to do the electrical items. So let's go up to the tool that looks like a little outlet. You're going to see in the tool palette that we have a variety of light tools to choose from, like 110 volt outlets, 220 outlets, lights, switches, and then we have this auto place outlets tool. Since we defined our master bathroom as a bathroom earlier on in our plan, we can actually choose this auto place outlets tool and then just click inside of our room. And if we zoom in, we can see that the software program has automatically placed a GFCI outlet next to our lights, and we can better look at this in a wall elevation view. Oh, it might be a little hard to see behind the vases here, but it's automatically placed an outlet for us. And what we can do, if we want a couple more, we can just use the copy paste tool down at the bottom while it's selected, and then we can just click where we want some more placed in our plan, and say if we want to reflect this about to the other side of our cabinets, we can just use that same copy and paste in place tool and then reflect about. And there we go. We have placed some outlets in our plan now. Now let's place some lights. Let's choose the light tool from the drop-down options, and we can just click and place in our plan where I want that to be. And in Home Designer Pro, we can easily space these lights evenly using the Transform Replicate tool, which is located down at the bottom here. If we have that light already selected, then we can go down to the Transform Replicate tool, click on it. That will bring up the Transform Replicate Object dialog box. And this is where you can specify the different parameters for how you want to copy, move, rotate, or reflect a certain item. What I want to do is make a copy of 2 of these lights, and then I want to move it in the X delta position, which is this direction in our plan on the X axis. I want to move it down the X axis 50 inches. And then I'm going to click OK. And you can see how those lights have just evenly been placed for us. And let's multi-select all of these lights, because we want to add a couple more, but let's have them down at the bottom here. And I'm just going to use the copy paste tool again, and I'm going to click down in this area to add these lights again. Now let's add a couple of light switches. So we can choose the switch tool from the tool palette, and we can click to place a couple of those. And we'll also want to show how these light features connect with one another. So let's choose the Connect Electrical tool, and what you can do is watch for those triangle edit handles. That lets you know when you have something that you can connect to, and then you just click and drag to the light elements that you want to show for your electrical plan. And you can also further edit how these display just by using the edit handles with these lines. And you would just continue this process for the other parts of your plan as well to finish off your electrical. But this is pretty much it for our bathroom design. In Home Designer Pro, you gain the ability to create a layout page up to 18 inches by 24 inches in size for your construction documents. Let's take a look at a finished construction document page that I've already put together. And this is just an example of what a finished layout page can look like. You can, edit the views, change things around. You can use the CAD tools to add more details and notes. And you can submit them to your local building department for permitting, to your HOA for approval, or just a handoff to a builder or a contractor. So let's come back into our floor plan. But before we get started with the layout page, let's clean up our display a little bit. So to access those display layers again, I'm just going to go to the top menu bar and click on the tool that looks like a checkbox. That'll bring up our layer display options again, and I am going to turn some layers off, like the cabinet label, the electrical, the plants, the interior furniture, camera labels, window labels, and door labels, room labels as well. And then I also want to turn on those automatic dimensions that we have too. Okay, this looks better. I already have a layout page started for this demonstration, so I'm just going to grab that real quick to open it up. However, you can also just start a new layout page by going up to File and then New Layout. But once you have that layout page open, you can see that you can set up the title block to have whatever information you'd like your company name, the name of the project, your address, and so on. To send a view over to this layout page, we need to go to that particular view first, whether it be a plan view, elevation, or a 3D view. Let's send over our plan view first. And once we're in that view, we're going to go up to the button that looks like a little blueprint. It's called the Send to Layout tool. And this will bring up the Send to Layout dialog box. This is where you can specify the scaling of your drawing to go to your layout page. And if you're doing a 3D view or an elevation view, you can also choose whether it update on demand or just to always update continuously. And I'm going to change the scaling a little bit. I'm going to have it be a 1/2 inch equals 1 foot, and then click OK. And you might see this dialog box pop up. It's just going to say that the view is too large to fit on the layout page and ask if you want to continue. We're going to say yes. And that's because once we have the view on the layout page, we can select it and we can crop it to whatever size that we'd like. So I'm just going to bring these in closer here. And then I can adjust where I want it on the page. There. And then once you're ready to add another view, let's go back to the plan. And just like we had in the finished layout example, I had an electrical plan there. And you can create a new plan view by selecting Tools, Plan Views, New Plan View. And you'll see that that added a new tab at the top here. And this is really just another plan view that we can use to adjust the layer display in order to create whatever plan view you'd like to send over to your layout again. Let's go through how to send a 3D view to our layout. So first, let's make a 3D camera view. I want to go up to the camera options and choose full camera, and you'll see that my icon has changed to a picture of a camera, and then I'm just going to click and drag in the scene where I want that camera to be placed. And now you can see that the full render is kind of taking shape. There's a lot of different rendering techniques that you can choose with our software. Right now, this is the standard render. We can also take a look at the other rendering techniques that we have available, like the vector view. We also have a glass house view, a technical illustration view, a watercolor view, and the physically based rendering. And this physically based rendering, or PBR render technique, it's really great for creating a much more photorealistic look. And this is a brand new 2020 feature for our Home Designer line of software. This is first gained in Home Designer Architectural and Home Designer Pro. And to adjust any camera settings, we can go up to the technique options, and this is where you can change things like the camera exposure or the brightness in your scene. Then all we need to do is click on that send to layout icon again, and we want this image to update just on demand, and then click OK. And then just like the other view, we can select it and we can crop it to our desired size and move it into position. Let's also send over the wall elevation that we made before. So let's go up to the wall elevation, and if we want to show the dimensions, we can use the dimension tool up at the top here. I'm just going to choose the manual dimension tool, and then we can click and drag across the area that we want to measure. And then we can also click and drag these down, just to have a cleaner view. You'll notice that there are little diamonds that are locating to specific areas for our dimensions. You can actually click and drag off the ones that you don't want to see, and you can click and drag just to adjust the dimensions as well. We can do the same thing for the full height cabinet. Grab that dimension tool, click and drag over the area, and then you can pull down the dimension. Then we can go up to the send to layout tool. I'm going to change the scaling of this wall elevation to be 3/4 inch equals 1 foot, and then click OK. And just like before, we can select it. We can click and drag the edit handles to crop our view, and then use the middle edit handle to reposition it anywhere you want. And that's just about it for our bathroom webinar today. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you'd like to try out any of our Home Designer software programs, we offer free trial versions right on our website, homedesignersoftware.com. We also have our 30-day money-back satisfaction guarantee on any new Home Designer software purchases as well as upgrade purchases. If you already own a Home Designer software program, and if you would like to upgrade to a newer or more powerful program, then you can qualify for an upgrade discount. And to help with learning Home Designer software, we have many training videos and help articles available on our website, which again is homedesignersoftware.com. We also have our Home Talk user forum if you'd like to ask questions or get in contact with other Home Designer software users. If you ever need help choosing which software product is best for your needs, feel free to give our sales department a call or send us an email. We're happy to help out. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a good day.